Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Evans. I'm one of the project facilitators and I'm a BA Drama, Applied Theatre and Education student at the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama. I've also had the absolute pleasure of being a part of the Your Story, Your Way project for the past few weeks. So I will now pass on to Neva.
Hello, everyone. My name is Neva. I'm one of the project facilitators, and I'm a BA Drama Applied Theatre and Education student at Royal Central School of Speech and Drama. I'm really excited to be here today and share with you the Your Story, Your Way project. And I will now pass you on to Petra.
Good morning, everybody. Hi, my name is Petra, and I'm one of the project facilitators. I'm an MA Applied Theatre student here at Royal Central School of Speech and Drama. And Your Story, Your Way has been such a wonderful, creative project to work on. And I'm so happy to be here today. I'll now pass you on to Natalie, who will begin the demo of our workshop.
Hello again. So for our workshop demonstration, we have chosen to show you an example of a session that we felt was responded to very positively, and that our participants created some really excellent work from. This being when we offered either stimulus or sentence starters as a springboard for the participants to then write their own poems. By having these frameworks in place, our aim was to provide to provide support but not take away from their creative autonomy. In the end, what was written was very much the participants' work, and we had very little input into the final product. Within this demonstration, we will show you the ways in which we use digital tools that we had at our disposal to our advantage. I will now hand you over to Neva and Petra, who will deliver the example session.
Hello again. So this workshop that I'll start by leading was used to help write poems with a few of our participants. The one I will be demonstrating today uses sentence starters to help inspire and move along the lines of the poem. And I'm using a Jamboard to present the sentence starters. So I'm going to share my screen now. All right, can everyone see my screen? Awesome. So the theme that we have been using with one of the residents is the faraway tree. For those of you who don't know the story of the faraway tree is a magical tree with loads of magical creatures that live in it. And when you get to the top of the tree, there's a faraway land. And there are some examples of the land here. And I thought we would start off today by choosing what land we go and visit. So at this point, feel free to unmute yourself or write it in the chat, and Natalie will read out to me if something is in the chat. And we can start off by choosing where we want to go. So there's the land of birthdays, the land of marvels, the land of do as you please, the land of goodies, the land of dreams, the land of topsy-turvy, the land of take what you want, or you can even make up your own land at the top of the tree.
I think if I had to choose one, I would probably choose the land of dreams.
All right. So we are now all climbing to the top of the tree, and we are going to the land of dreams. So next we're going to jump in to writing the poem, thinking about that we're going to the land of dreams. So again, feel free to unmute yourself or write in the chat. And we're going to all write this poem all together. When we do this normally with the residents, it's a one-to-one session. So we're working closely with just one resident, but today we're all going to collaborate and write a poem together. So the first line of the poem is "Today I feel." Who has an idea? Today I feel happy. Today I feel excited. Today I feel sleepy.
My suggestion that it is "Today I feel happy."
Today I feel happy.
And hungry.
Happy and hungry.
Hungry. Coming up to mid-morning snack, you see.
Today I feel happy and hungry because it's coming up on a mid-morning snack. Our second line begins with, I think I will. I think I will pick my favorite snack. I think I will go for a walk.
What about?
Sorry.
I think I will visit the birds at the park.
Can you repeat what you said, please?
I think I will visit
Visit the birds
at the park.
in the park. All right, so we've got our second line of the poem. Our third line begins with, I love to. I love to hear the birds sing. I love to.
We have a suggestion in the chat and it's lovely. It's hear them sing in the sunshine.
Hear them sing in the sunshine. Beautiful. The sun is trying to come out today if you're in London, so maybe we'll hear the birds sing later in the sunshine. And we have our fourth line. So now we're coming up to the faraway tree. So just as a reminder, to get to the top of the faraway tree, you can either climb a ladder, you can climb the branches, but you have to get to the top. So to get to the top of the tree, so how are we getting to the top of the tree today?
We're gonna commandeer a crane. There's some people working next door, maybe, and we're gonna get them to crane us up to the top.
To get to the top of the tree, I commandeer a crane. I can definitely say that was never suggested before. All right, and our last line on this page is, the tree is in. So maybe the tree is in the park. The tree could be, maybe you have to travel further and go into the woods. The tree could be.
We have the tree is in a fluffy cloud or space.
A fluffy cloud.
Or a fluffy cloud in space, maybe, if we want to use both. A fluffy space cloud.
The tree is in a fluffy cloud in space. All right, we've got our first bit of the poem here. I'm just going to read it out all together and then we'll move on. So today I feel happy and hungry because it's coming up on a mid-morning snack. I think I will visit the birds in the park. I love to hear them sing in the sunshine. To get to the top of the tree, I commandeer a crane. The tree is in a fluffy cloud in space. So next we have, along the way I met. So as you're getting to the top of the tree in the big crane, you might meet some magical creatures along the way because the tree is also a home to thousands of other beings. So who do we meet on our way up the tree?
Can I say?
Yeah.
A very talkative grizzly bear.
A very talkative grizzly bear. Fabulous. At the top of the tree, this is where we all decided we're going to the land of dreams. So I'm gonna put the land of dreams in now. The land of dreams. I saw, so who or what did you see when you entered the land of dreams? It could be rainbows or pixie dust or every good dream you could imagine, or giant lollipops, or
Emily has suggested we could have those happy squirrels and Bob Ross, or a mountain made of ice cream, or a village with 2 neighborhoods. Got
okay.
quite the
Okay,
options here.
slow down. We can add it all in. So,
Oh,
some
wow.
happy squirrels, Bob Ross, and then Natalie, can you keep reading out what else you had?
Yes, so there's a mountain made of ice cream.
Mountain made of ice cream.
And finally, a village with 2 neighborhoods.
2 neighborhoods, which I'm guessing Bob Ross was in one of these neighborhoods. Maybe he was like king of one of these neighborhoods. All right, so we see a lot here. This one's very open-ended. So this could be talking about our adventure. This could be talking about everything that we saw. So this was the best land I have ever visited. This was a dream come true because I met Bob Ross. This could be, this was.
Ooh, we have, this was a deja vu, all in brilliant color.
Vu. Is that what you said? A deja vu, all in brilliant color?
Yeah, that's the combination of the 2 lovely ideas in the chat.
Awesome. Okay. So on this slide we have, along the way I met a very talkative grizzly bear. At the top of the tree, there was the land of dreams. I saw some happy squirrels, Bob Ross, a mountain made of ice cream, and a village with 2 neighborhoods. This was a deja vu, all in brilliant color. Oh, and that was the end. So now we're going to put it all together because everyone was super fabulous and super creative this morning at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's amazing. But we just all collaborated and wrote a poem together. So our poem, today I feel happy and hungry because it's coming up on a mid-morning snack. I think I will visit the birds in the park. I love to hear them sing in the sunshine. To get to the top of the tree, I commandeer a crane. The tree is in a fluffy cloud in space. Along the way, I met a very talkative grizzly bear. At the top of the tree, there was the land of dreams. I saw some happy squirrels, Bob Ross, a mountain made of ice cream, and a village with 2 neighborhoods. This was a deja vu, all in brilliant color. So I will give you all a hand for that poem. Well done, everyone. Does anyone have some title suggestions so we can round it off with a nice title?
Morning climbing.
Morning climbing. Perfect. Seals that off. Morning climbing. I love it. So now I am going to pass you on over to Dorothy Wordsworth, who will talk you through another poem writing workshop.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Lake District. You can see I'm in front of my wonderful cottage here, and I'm so pleased you've arrived because my brother, William, I'm sure you've heard of him, he's out and he's probably running around looking at daffodils and silly things like that. But I am a bit stuck. I've got writer's block and I've been trying to write a poem all morning, but it's just not working. So I'm so pleased you've arrived. Please, could you help me? Now I'm going to take you inside and show you what I've done. And I'm really grateful for all the help I can get. So please follow me and I'd like to show you. Thank you. So we're going to be looking at what I wrote this morning. And well, just to get a little bit of inspiration, perhaps we could look at one of my brother's poems and just to remind ourselves of what one could do. And I'm going to read to you a poem that you might know, and I'm just trying to show it to you. I'm not very good with all this paper and stuff that I'm supposed to be using, but here we are. I think I've just managed. So there's a little poem, and you can see pictures of daffodils, and there's a portrait of me, look. I'll try my best. And there's Willie. Yes. Anyway, so here's the poem. I wander lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw crowd a host of golden daffodils beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering, dancing in the breeze. Well, yes, I think we can do better than that. So, my friends, here on the next page, I have got some words. I've got fluttering and things like that. Not so original, as you can see, but I'm wondering, could you please help me write something with these words? So you can just call out, or you can put something in the chat and my friends will help. So, shall we start with the word flowers? Could anybody help me? What could
Can
be
we
the
add
next?
anything to this word?
Yes, anything at all.
Wordsworth.
You can use any word you like, or you can help me rearrange these words I've already got, but I'm very happy if you've got your own words. They're probably much better than mine anyway.
I think something about it growing. So you've got the picture
yes.
of the roots at the bottom and like the bulb. So maybe something about like a flower, like starting from like below the like rough soil or something.
Oh, lovely. How about flowers growing roots below?
Yeah, nice.
Soil? Oh, yes. Oh, you are a poet, aren't you? Are you related to another famous poet like I am?
Not to my knowledge.
Ah, well, very talented. Flowers growing roots below rough soil. Lovely. What about the second line?
How about something together, together my beating heart.
Oh, very romantic.
Together my beating heart, ... Together
Ooh.
with something, my beating heart.
Yes, my beating heart. I'm just writing. ... Yes. Oh, yes. So flowers growing roots on the rough soil. Together my beating heart. Oh, yes. Wonderful.
Beating heart
So,
and, yeah, okay.
yes, anything else?
We've got a suggestion in the chat here.
Yes.
Kept rhythm with the flowers.
Oh, kept rhythm with the flowers.
And then we've got a second suggestion in the chat. Does similarly grow, I didn't say that right, did I? Does similarly grow a love amongst rough life?
I know I like Ellie's line. It brings in the flowers again, but you were saying about how like love grows even in like tough life stuff. It's not worded into a poem line, but
Oh, I'm sure it will be in a moment. So keep through
someone
the
else
flowers.
can bring
Sorry.
a suggestion
So
in
what was the fourth line?
there.
What did it start with?
I'm not
That's a
sure.
little bit. Could you read that lovely line somebody just spoke just a moment ago?
We've got the breeze starts to bring the sound of love.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's very romantic. Yes, indeed. Ooh, it's got a bit skewy here.
And then we've got another suggestion in the chat. I'm sitting under the trees thinking of you.
Okay, so let's just finish this. Was it breeze brings the sound of love? Was that right?
The breeze starts to bring the sound of love.
Oh, it's looking very lovely. Okay, wonderful. And the next
we
one?
have, I'm sitting under the trees thinking of you.
Move that one away. I'm sitting under the trees.
Thinking of you.
Oh, yes. That is so romantic. Let's see how we have. Any other suggestions for one more line?
Yes, so there's another line written in the chat.
Yes.
Whilst listening to the fluttering of butterflies.
Ooh, let's just find that.
And then we have one more line suggested.
Yes.
Together start, we can emerge from this rough soil.
Maybe together we can start to emerge from this rough soil. Oh, right, there you go, Ellie.
Yes.
Good for the
Together we
emerging
can.
from down as well. Maybe it's that kind of thing.
So together we can. Let's just try and fit that one in. Oh yes, you were talking about the rough soil in the first line and the last line. That's very, very clever. I'm sure William will be incredibly impressed. He might even try and get us published. He's got friends, you know. Wow. Okay, so shall we read this back together? Absolutely fantastic. We can make any last changes that we like. Flowers growing roots below rough soil. Together my beating heart keeps rhythm with the flowers fluttering. The breeze starts to bring the sound of love. I'm sitting under the trees thinking of you, not the trees. Whilst listening to the fluttering of butterflies, together we can start to emerge from this rough soil. Oh, you are very, very talented. What a wonderful poem we have. Thank you so much. In fact, I have to confess, it is the best poem that I have ever partly written. So thank you so, so much. I was wondering, you've done so wonderfully. I'm just wondering if we do have enough time for one more. I have got a few starters here because you've been so fantastic. Would you mind just helping me very, very quickly to write a very short second poem? some tea later. So I've started these lines for us. Just a quick, anything will do. You're obviously so talented. I'm sure everything you suggest will be fantastic. Okay. I take silence to be yes, if that's all right. So your eyes. Are
your eyes.
shining?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sorry.
Your eyes
Go ahead,
see
Peter.
right. Your eyes see right into me.
Ooh, and a bit of a rhyme as well. Oh yes, your eyes see right into me. Fantastic. Your smile.
Just in time for tea. Sorry.
Yes. How about for morning tea? Listen, your eyes see right into me. Your smile just in time for morning tea. Shall we put morning in there? And your voice? Somebody else? Doesn't have to rhyme, of course, but if it does, all the better. Have we got anything in the chat? I'm wondering. Ooh,
So we've got an idea for your voice. Your voice is like 1,000 seas.
ooh, absolutely beautiful. Thank you for that one. And the day?
Oh, and we've got an addition. Your voice is like 1,000 seas meeting 1,000 shores.
That's absolutely beautiful. I love that. And the day. Just 2 more lines to go. We're almost there. Probably one of the best poems that one can write in 2 minutes. The day.
All right, we have a suggestion in the chat. The
Yes.
day is getting better and better with you around.
Yes, the day is getting better and better with you around. And finally, the night. Maybe something ending in sound. I don't know. We like rhymes, or something ending with something that rhymes with seas, shores, or better. Doesn't have to rhyme, of course. Any suggestions, most welcome.
All right, we have
Who
a
says?
suggestion. The night brings cold. The owls cry the only sound.
Ooh, the night brings cold. The owls cry the only sound. Oh, that's absolutely beautiful. Right, let's read the whole thing back. Your eyes see right into me. Your smile just in time for morning tea. Your voice is like 1,000 seas meeting 1,000 shores. The day is getting better and better with you around. The night brings cold. The owls cry the only sound. Oh, I think this is so wonderful. Thank you so very, very much. You've done amazing, amazing creative poetry work. And I just think this is the best day I've had all year. Thank you so much. And have a lovely journey back. Okay, so that was just an example of how it can be fun to just do something in role, just to inspire people's imagination, have a bit of fun, be a bit silly, wear a silly hat, that sort of thing. And obviously it just depends on which participant we're working with. Sometimes it can really help stimulate the creative flow. So for example, we had some participants who wanted to go on a virtual journey, an imaginary journey to the Lake District. And so, for example, that's what inspired meeting Wordsworth. Or then we thought, well, Wordsworth's sister, why not? Better still, Dorothy Wordsworth. And that, we came up with that idea that she might ask the participants to help write a poem. She might have writer's block, that sort of thing. So we just basically sort of recreated one of the ideas we had. But it could be any character, of course. And it depends, as I said, on the participants' interests. So yes, as I said, we had this lovely couple, and we always do a bespoke approach and a bespoke artifact. So it doesn't have to always be a poem. It could be a poem. It could be some song lyrics. Could be a story. Could be a memory that's kind of dramatized, something from their past, perhaps. But it's always fun. It's always creative, interesting. And completely collaborative, just as you just collaborated. It's always engaging the participants in that kind of a way. So hope you had fun doing that. You were brilliant. And I will now pass you on to Nikki, who will chair the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Petra. Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you have a think about some questions, everybody, that you might want to ask the team. Nat and Neva, I think you've got a few bits to reflect with us as well. So I'll pass over to Nat.
Hi, yeah, so obviously when this workshop was delivered with the participants from One Housing, it did run a little differently because it was a one-to-one session rather than as a group, and quite a large group, but this was arguably better in our eyes because it allowed the workshop to be personalised and tailored to the participants specifically, and it also allowed us to ensure that the participants were having their voices and all of their ideas heard, meaning that the agency was completely theirs over all of their creative decisions. Let Neva tell you a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so with this particular workshop, as it's been mentioned multiple times, the collaboration is really the most important thing. The sentence starters are really there for just inspiration and structure in order to boost the participants' confidence and to also lessen the stress of having to remember or think completely on the spot. As you can see, there's never a right or a wrong way to write a poem, so it's a really great opportunity and exercise where the participant is encouraged to take the lead with the facilitator there to just guide and help when needed. We also take the time to write as the participant speaks. So they don't have to feel as though they need to remember anything that they are saying. And then at the end of the session, like we all did, we read back what they've written, and then they also get to keep that as an artifact as well. So I'm going to pass it back to Nikki, who's going to share the question.
Thank you, Neva. Thanks, Nat. Thank you, Petra, for that really interesting demonstration workshop. I'd like to invite any questions or insights. You've got anything you'd like to share about what you've seen or taken part in. So if you've got any thoughts or questions, you can raise your hands, use the raise hand emoji, or you can pop them in the chat. Or if you've got any thoughts or reflections on what that was like, what that experience was like to go through the workshop, that would be really lovely to hear as well. What do you think? Any thoughts? Anyone like to contribute? Peter, let's go to you.
I just want to say that I put in the chat there that I've got two family members here. Ellie, who is, and big up to Ellie. She's getting married on Saturday. Way!
Congratulations, Ellie.
So, and I've written a poem for her wedding. And Amy is married to one of my nephews. So there are two names there. So, and they're both, and Amy, yeah, anyway, so that just thought it just show what I'm saying is it just shows the value of this stuff from yesterday and today for wider, education, if you like. So That's all. But
No, thank you, Peter. That's really lovely. And thank you, Ellie and Amy, for joining us as well. Congratulations. Really brilliant news. Peter, is your poem secret, or did you want to share it?
She was nice and she did.
oh no, it was supposed to be a secret, but hey, so long story short, Ellie is marrying a German lad, and I've got to send it to her in advance so she can get someone to translate it for the German folks who can't speak English. So I won't read it just here. Now. Thanks. But you give me some ideas. I might tweak it again. So.
Oh, well, best of luck with your poem. It sounds lovely. Really beautiful to be sharing a poem to celebrate everybody's relationships. Really nice. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Sophie has got a question for us. As facilitators, how do you prepare yourselves before going into a bespoke session? And do you talk to carers or build a profile? That's a very interesting question. Let's start with Nat, if that's okay, and we'll go around the team to hear your thoughts and insights into your process.
Hello, sorry, just finding the unmute button there. So in terms of how we prepare ourselves for bespoke sessions and that, so in the sessions previous to the sort of planning, we ask them about their memories and their stories. So in this case, it was for a couple, two of our participants, and they love traveling and they've been all over everywhere, especially in the UK. They loved the Lake District and had some really gorgeous stories there. And of course, we wanted to get something creative out of the session so that they could walk away with something, like Neva said, and also we could all have some fun. So yeah, I think the preparation comes from what they've told us, and then we take that and think, okay, how can we make it creative and fun? And they seem to respond really well to role play. So yeah, I think, I'm not sure if that answers the question, but I'll pass on to Nova. So Mike.
Yeah, so Natalie was just talking about the Dorothy Wordsworth poem. With the poem that we did in the beginning with the Faraway Tree, before Natalie and I had joined onto the team, Nikki and Rachel were building profiles of the participants and asking questions and learning stuff about them. And when Natalie and I joined on the team, one of the participants' interests was the woods and nature and trees. And we were trying to come up with a way to make that really creative. So that's kind of, we do brainstorming sessions, and we thought about the Faraway Tree because that's something magical, and that's something that every week we can go to a new land, we can go to a new place. We also knew that she had liked writing poetry. And so we had the idea of writing poems about the Faraway Tree and about going to a land. So in preparation, as you saw with the Jamboard, what I would do is I would just kind of think of some sentence starters of kind of trying to fit in a full story. Nothing too specific that's gonna, lean the participant one way or the other. And then we share that and do the workshop the same way. So there is some preparation and profile building that goes into that before we start. And I'll pass you on to Petra.
Yeah, so I think what Neva was talking about, the profile building, was really quite an important element. So before Neva and Nat joined us, we had a few sessions with the participants where we sort of took them on an imaginary journey where they might want to have to visit, to talk about food and their favorite places that they might remember. And so that was a sort of foundation, also asking them about what kind of music they like. So that was a kind of background out of which all these artifacts and all the later creative work kind of grew. So yes, another couple loved to travel. So a lot of their poetry and stories was all based around different parts of the world where they'd been. So yeah, I mean, as we said earlier, everything was very much individually tailored to each participant. And so because of that, we had a really wonderful, broad, sort of diverse range of creative stories, which we managed to collaboratively produce during the sessions.
Lovely, thank you, team. And we've got another question from Amy. Where do you find your participants and what is the reason they get involved? And I think that's a really interesting question. I'd like to also invite Leanne and Sophia to answer that, because they were involved in our pilot of this project that happened one-to-one in acute hospital settings for medicine for the elderly. I think it might be quite useful to kind of hear across different contexts what that was like, just to share those insights. Let's start for now with the current project team, and then go to Sophia and Leanne for the next part of that. Who should we start with? Let's start with Niva, and if you're happy to pass on afterwards.
I'm not sure if I'm the best person to answer this question, to be honest. I can say how I got involved. Nikki put out that she was looking for members to join the team at Central, and me and Nat's specific course is Applied Theater, Drama, and Education. And so we love doing this kind of work. We love working with participants and facilitating theater. So that's how I kind of got involved, as I jumped onto the project after seeing an email, really. I can pass that over to Natalie.
Hi, yeah, I mean, yeah, the way that I got involved is exactly the same. I think me and Ava must have been lucky in that sense, as we got the email and I responded very, very quickly. So I think I jumped on that boat. But I personally got involved because obviously it's with dementia patients. My grandmother had dementia, so I was quite personally attached to the project, thought that it would do a lot of good. And I don't know, I hope that the participants got involved because they felt a similar way, in the sense that this project is all about, you know, connectivity and intergenerational work. So yeah, I'll pass on to Neva. Sorry, not Neva, Petra.
Yeah, so I heard from 2 or 3 of my predecessors on this project and some of the other projects how fantastic it was and how creative. And then when the email came about this placement, I was really keen to get involved, again, because I hadn't worked with elderly people before. And also I was really interested and keen to learn how to use all this technology, Zoom and the Jamboard, something I hadn't done before, and how to use that in a workshop remotely. And so all those things I learned, and I'm just so impressed the way that the dementia patients managed to get so creatively involved. It was incredible to watch their journey, their progress, you know, from the beginning to the end, and also really incredibly rewarding to see their responses when we showed back the artifacts to them. Yeah.
Thank you, Petra. Before we go to Leanne and Sophia, just as a broader context for that part of the project, I'm going to pass to Rachel, who will give you a bit more context about how we got involved with One Housing.
Thank you, Nikki. Yes, so this project, as a lot of our projects this term, have been running with One Housing Association, which is a supported living for older people, some living with dementia. And they came to us looking for something that they could do remotely during the lockdown period. I think they've had not much interaction, not many activities running, and they were really keen to get involved in something they can do online. They got their Wi-Fi set up, they got tablets ordered so they could do things, but then they didn't know how to carry on with that. So they came to us asking if there's anything we could do, and then we set up the projects with them. And I think they were keen to get as many residents involved as they could, as they're not really allowed to do activities together as a group as they normally would. So that's where we came in, and we've had, I think it's about maybe 9 residents across the projects involved at the moment, and we're going to be continuing with them to get more people involved over the next few months as well. So the projects were there to get the residents involved in something to keep their days busy and exciting, and something to look forward to, something to think about. And they all chose to sign up as well. It was offered to them, and the ones that joined chose to sign up and get involved. So I'll hand back to Leanne for her side of the project.
Yeah, so Sophia and I were actually on the pilot project of Your Story, Your Way last year with Imperial Healthcare NHS Trust. And it was a little bit different. So because we were working within the hospital context, we were still working via Zoom. And the sessions were still similar, but so to explain it, Nikki would be on the other side at the hospital, and she would have the tablet, and we would zoom in on the tablet, and then she would take us to a patient, and she'd sit with them, and then her and then one of the members of the dementia care team would help facilitate on that side. So it was really sort of cross collaboration, because we had to really work with the dementia care team at the bedside of the patient. And the sessions really were flexible. So we didn't have a set amount of time, and we didn't always know before that day which patient we would be with. It would be whoever felt up to it. So Nikki would sort of talk to the patients, I guess, and the dementia care team would as well. And then they'd be walking around the ward and then stop by a patient, see if they were up for it. And then we would have a session sort of ready. If we needed to adapt it, we would have some information prior. So I think one of our patients was non-verbal, so we had to adapt it prior. So we would just take the session plan we had and just change it slightly and deliver it differently. And then the artifacts would be created really quickly. So this project is actually a long one. Ours was very, very quick. So we would work with the patient, and then we'd have maybe 2 days to create an artifact. So that could be a poem or a video or a song or a dance or something. We would create that really, really quickly within 2 days. And then that would get delivered by Nikki and the dementia care team to the patient, because they would then be discharged from home, and then they would have that physical artifact to take with them and to keep. So yeah, that's from me. So it was a little bit different. We straightened out a lot of the creases, I think, what worked, what didn't. Like having a big projector screen we realized worked, so they didn't just have the tiny little screen with sort of thing like PowerPoints and stuff that we wanted to share and our faces. It was better to see us, so we could have that. It's really good to have that eye contact, which you can't really get, but you sort of can. So we ended up giving them a lot of handouts. So yeah, that's sort of what the pilot project was. I'll pass it to Sophia, who can give her side of the story.
Hi all. Thank you, Leanne. There's not much to be said that hasn't been said already, but I'm very happy to see that the project is continuing and is in such good hands at this very moment. Well, I think the patients were getting involved because they needed something within this situation of the pandemic, where they were very isolated in the hospital, and we might not have given much, at least that's what we thought, but we did. It was half an hour of fun and light and art and memories, and they felt they were doing something that helped them, yeah. And for us, it was also very rewarding, emotionally rewarding experience to be able to provide, not provide exactly, collaborate with them and provide them with something so nice.
Thank you, team, for reflecting, and thank you for sharing as well for the first iteration of the project. It's great to have you here to share that. I think that one of the beauties of this project is that you can create anything, and the patients and the residents get to challenge us, the team. You never know what they're going to ask for. I think I've got a few favourite stories, if you'll indulge me for a minute or two, just to share the work that's been done by the team. And one of them was a gentleman who was really feeling quite low, not having a great time, in a side room, which is tricky anyway in terms of interaction. And we worked with him, and we asked him at the end of the session, where he's shared with us these beautiful stories of his travels around South America, what would you like us to make? And he was absolutely adamant he would like a children's book, a children's storybook, as an audio book and an animation. And he wanted us to send it to primary schools so children could see and hear his stories about his travels. So we did exactly that. And we sent it to 4 primary schools, and then the teachers showed the children. What we didn't expect is that the children made videos and poems to respond back to him. So we sent them and took them back to him as well over a series of days so that he had some company. And a few had responses. So it became this lovely exchange that happened and started to lift somebody's mood. So what started with absolutely 20-30 minutes of a workshop became a much longer term thing that lifted somebody when they were really feeling quite down. Of course, if you're feeling a little bit better, you're more likely to engage with something, you're more likely to be responsive, you're more likely to eat, you're more likely to feel a bit tired because you've done something that's challenged you in the day. So it has kind of clinical implications in that sense, I suppose, that people will be more engaged in what's going on in the care that's been offered. Similarly, we had a gentleman with Liana Sophia who missed traveling around the world and kept meeting the same lady in different countries over several decades, and said, could we create something for him? And at that point, everyone had just been we'd been home for about, I think, 4 or 5 months at that point. And the cohort for Liana Sophia's MA class had gone back all over the world, and they sent us videos. We had some from Greece, some from Thailand, from Mexico, sharing stories from around the world that directly addressing the camera, directly addressed to that person, so that they could take him on an international tour, even from his hospital bed. And it's those things that make this project quite special, I think, because they're so bespoke and so different each time. I've chatted on a lot, and I'm very aware of time. And I know, Peter, you've got a final question for us. I'll read it out. I imagine some participants might get over emotional in a sad way, especially if they're on their own. How do you manage that? What do you think, team? Would anyone like to take that question? I'm not sure we've had that too much, actually, but if you'd like to. Nat, Neva?
Yeah. So at least when we all started joining this project, we started with some training that Nikki sent out to us, some videos, and those were really, really helpful in kind of preparing our sessions and kind of knowing what we were going into. But I think that there is this overwhelming sense that dementia is really sad, and it is, it is. However, the residents that we worked with didn't feel that way. They were really excited to be there. We were really excited to be there. And the whole thing was really just like this big energy exchange, that if you were excited to be there and you were positive, then it reflected in them. And even if they were having a bad day or they were feeling frustrated, they really fed off of your energy, and we would see just this huge change in their confidence when they realized the things that they were making, like writing a whole poem or writing a whole song, or seeing the travel videos and remembering memories and having someone to talk to as well. So in our experience on the project, it wasn't necessarily sad. Like if you were there and you were in a good mood, then they were there to reciprocate that energy.
Thank you, Neva. Nat, did you want to add, or do you agree? What do you think?
Yeah, I'd say that I absolutely would agree. I think I will not and cannot speak for the participants, but I felt that creative practice is often a way to sort of escape sad realities. If they are feeling sad, like they can, I think, offering an opportunity for creative stimulus and sharing your stories and being playful is actually a really good way to lift spirits, or at least I hope it was. I think that it was, because we didn't see a lot of sadness in the room at all. I think unless you were told these are a group of dementia patients, you wouldn't walk into that room and go, oh, this is a room full of dementia patients. It's just, this is a room full of creative practice. So yeah, I don't know if anyone else in the team has anything more specific to offer, but I'd say that was my experience of it.
Petra, what do you think?
Yes, I agree with everything that you've said, Nat and Neva, but I also think that I certainly didn't see any sadness. Sometimes there would be a little bit of, right at the beginning, like, oh, I'm not sure I can do this today, or oh, I'm not so good at writing a poem. It wouldn't be sad. I would say perhaps a little bit of lack of confidence to start with. However, that very, very quickly would change into just engagement with our encouragement, with our positive reinforcement. I've never come across a participant who at the end of a session didn't feel happy or seem happy, creative and engaged. And yeah, that's just the impression that I got. And I just think that, you know, anything, as Nat said, anything creative is going to lift your spirits and make you feel engaged. And I think that's what we were able to share with these lovely.
Thank you, team. Absolutely, you raised a good point there, everybody. Thank you very much. I think the other thing to say is that we shouldn't be worried about emotions. We tend to quite like happy emotions because it makes us feel comfortable when someone's laughing. But we have to allow people to feel any emotion they're feeling. I think that's really important. So someone is feeling sad, so that's okay, that's allowed. And I think that has to sit more comfortably with us. I think there is a tendency to be very worried. I don't think I've seen that at all. With our team, everyone's very accepting and very open to emotions. But I think generally in practice, if someone is not feeling great, they're allowed to not feel great. And it doesn't matter what's going on. All we can do is provide some respite and some comfort and some company. But I think it's always really important to accept the emotions in the room and be okay with that, so that we don't try and hide them, because that's when you start to suppress them. That's when you're in a bad situation, I think. So we have to be ready for that. And as Petra said, very gently encouraging and supporting and positive reinforcement if someone is having a low day or is feeling a bit self-conscious, that can do a world of good, I think, in those moments. Thank you, everybody, for spending time with us this morning. We're almost dead on 11. I hope that you're joining us later on for facilitator training and for our talk this afternoon. Thank you, team, for a lovely inspirational workshop. Thank you for your brilliant creative suggestions. And we hope to see you soon. If we don't, then thank you again. Have a lovely day. See you soon, everybody. Take care.